Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jessie.
And welcome to our show.
And Nameless Production.
Fairy queens, cooler than you are made. Your earhole seductions is the Nameless Productions. For your earhole seductions is the Nameless Productions. For your earhole seductions is the...
And today we are back again to give you an interview, talk about shenanigans, have a good time, you know, that endless banter that we like to provide for you guys. So here we are again, episode 53. Dang.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast they're rolling right now after 50. I mean, not for Jessie though.
Well, yeah. I haven't stopped since episode 50. I've just been staring at the computer the whole time. And also I'm sweaty right now. It is fucking hot.
It's really hot. We had hurricane weather here in Riverside. There, I believe, was a hurricane out in Mexico. So we get that kind of weather, and it's just hot and mucky and humid, but it's like a weird, different kind of hot, yucky inside.
We don't have our air conditioner in here, so a part of me, if I'm
dying or
it's hot and sweaty. So yes, I've been doing the editing. We had our episode 50. That was absolutely amazing. We had a wonderful turnout. We still are working on an album coming from that event, which is going to be super amazing. We got set back because COVID, and we are back into things. Then we had Brandon Hardesty, we had Jordan Branch. Today we have an interview with Scott from the Sublime Tribute Band Badfish.
Yeah, and he's the drummer, and we got to see them play over at Surf Rodeo when we did the Surf Rodeo whole episode and everything, and we went there. So yeah, check out Surf Rodeo next year too, guys.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and we got to be backstage. We were really, really involved in getting to watch what was happening from behind the scenes, and I was really excited about that.
I was gonna say, it was a game changer for Melissa. She literally said, "Oh, I will watch every concert from this point of view from now on."
Yeah, so if you can get me backstage, you know, hit me up, because...
Well, we worked for it. We worked for it.
Well, that too, I'll work, but I mean...
Yeah, we were backstage as media. We were there recording, and, you know, it was... we have video from it of them playing, so win-win even.
Yeah.
We set up more interviews while we were there backstage, and... Thank you, Beth.
Yeah, Beth, you are
cool.
amazing for setting that up for us, for setting up Surf Rodeo for us. You get to meet a lot of people, and from Surf Rodeo, we met Scott, and we were able to get the interview.
Yeah, it's just fun how, I mean, we go to all these places, and it does look very glamorous, but Surf Rodeo, that was a really hard day for us. We were exhausted. I had to use a cane. It was one of those days where we were like, I guess we're going to go.
I drove 10 hours that weekend. I think just in that day, I drove 6 hours.
Yeah.
6 hours that day to get us there and back the same day. And it was
so
we had a whole other adventure the whole 2 days before that. So we were done.
But it's in that showing up. We still went. We still showed up.
Yeah.
And then we got to make that connection. We got to experience the music and see it firsthand. And we had video of it, as just a memory where we're like, dang, this was freaking cool. And the mosh pit. Okay, there was a crazy mosh pit while we were there.
Oh, yeah. Probably my favorite of all of it, because I love watching mosh pits.
Yes, and it was such a great time. And then we were talking to Beth Hummer. She calls her husband and she's like, Ben, the girls are here, come say hello. And he's like, oh, I can't, I'm bleeding.
She's like, why are you bleeding?
I was in the mosh pit.
We could understand why, because
it was intense.
Very intense.
So it was cool that we were there. We got to experience all of this stuff at Surf Rodeo, and then also from that experience, we made this other connection where we just happened to meet Scott, who was there. We introduced ourselves, and now we have another friend in the music industry, and that's just how it happens.
Yeah.
And we got this interview, and he tells us a story of the last 20 years, and it's just freaking awesome.
It's an amazing story, and you guys should listen.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Melissa.
I'm
Melissa.
Jessie.
Yeah, my name is Scott Beejan. I am the drummer and founding member of Badfish. We're a Sublime Tribute Band that's based in Rhode Island. We've been doing a Sublime Tribute now since 2001. So we are We have been doing it for a while, and we're still touring the country and spreading the music of Sublime wherever people want to listen to it. That's our story.
That's a great story because we are huge Sublime fans as well. I've listened to Sublime since I was very young, probably middle school. And and I've seen you guys play probably about 3 times out here in California. So
and the energy is always the same. When we were at Surf Rodeo, it was intense. That was crazy. There was a mosh pit while we were there, and one of our friends called her husband and was like, "Hey, come say hi to the girls. They're here." And he said, "I can't. I'm bleeding. I was in the mosh pit."
So I guess we did our job then.
Oh yeah, dude, we were up on the backstage watching you guys from behind the scenes and watching the stage, like kind of watching out how you guys would, and just watching the crowd, and it was intense, and I just loved everything about it. So watching you guys up on stage is amazing, but watching from behind is even more cool.
It was a good one to see from behind the scenes because it was such a unique setup with, really being right there on the beach and to have the crowd respond in that way. And then they were, like you said, they were kind of going nuts. And that was a lot of fun. I'm glad you got a chance to see that one from that perspective.
It was cool.
So dang, over 20 years, that's a long time. I don't know the right way to word this. So you kind of have a set list of music you can play, but it's music that people want. Yeah. So do you also have original music, or do you stick to Badfish Sublime Tribute music? We know you used to.
Yeah, so we know about Scotty Don't.
Okay, right. So many years ago, we did have an original project called Scotty Don't, where we kind of wanted to keep it separate from the Badfish world because we wanted people to know if they were coming to see a Badfish show, they were still going to get their money's worth of Sublime music, which is what they're paying to see. So we wanted to keep that original project separate. And we had a lot of fun with that. We put out some great music, and people still ask to hear that now and again, which is really cool. That had a bit of an impact. And then things happened. We all started to have kids and have families and stuff. And it became a little less realistic for us to dedicate the time to put into the Scotty Don't project. So we kind of put it on hold, and it stayed on an indefinite hold, basically. But funny you should ask, because now we are putting together some original songs that We're just going to see what happens with them. We might release them under the name Badfish or not. We don't really know. We're excited about the way they're coming along. But I guess the first part of your question, yes, we have our set list is kind of set in the way that we have the canon of Sublime songs to pick from. And obviously we don't play every single song in a night. There's so many, but we do have our regular go-to songs that we play, and we try to rotate in some of the lesser known songs from night to night to, for some of the more hardcore fans.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you guys are on a tour. You guys are on tour right now, right? Or do you you guys just starting our tour?
Throughout the summer, we've basically been doing weekends or long weekends, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or just Friday, Saturday. So between playing the shows and our travel days, it kind of has felt like we've been on a tour because it's just all this bouncing around back and forth. But we're about to, so I'm home now in our like studio office space here. And, but I leave again on Thursday to do a festival in Ohio for the weekend. And then from there, we do just a week-long little mini tour down through the Southeast and down to, I think we wrap up in Jacksonville, Florida, and then we're done for a little while after that.
Do you have a favorite song that you play?
It really changes from night to night, or maybe from week to week or month to month. It bounces around for me. As a drummer, some of the more upbeat, intense drumming songs are really just fun to play, and maybe a bit challenging to play. So I like that. A few of the songs that I often cite as among the favorites, the song "Same in the End" or the song "Seed" from Sublime's self-titled album are really good, like upbeat ones with just, well, the song "Seed," for instance, kind of switches from like halftime reggae feel to like upbeat ska feel to punk rock double time feel, and it's all over the place. So it's like a keep you on your toes type of vibe. The song "DJs" from Sublime's 40 Ounces to Freedom album is a really cool dancehall rhythm. That's kind of a little bit of a departure from the normal Sublime beats that I might be playing on the drums. And we've been doing a lot of fun solo sort of parts with that lately that make that a really fun one to play. And then, I mean, Santeria and Wrong Way and like the quote unquote hit songs are just fun because the crowd response is so awesome coming back at us with, Pat, our vocalist, he can basically not sing and the crowd will sing those songs back to us. So that's such a cool thing, and such a credit to how great Sublime is that they were able to, that not only do they have this humongous body of work, well-respected work, but they also had these killer like radio hits in the 90s that people still sing along to. They're such a great band. So.
I listened to them in the 90s too. And I'm like, every song that they played, I remember them like they were like yesterday, like in my head. It's like
everybody feels that way. Yeah. So it is fun like watching you guys. Like you said, your vocalist doesn't have to sing. People are out there belting the words at you, and you're like, "Here's the music. Let me give it to you."
Right. It's great. It's wonderful. Yeah, we're lucky to like be playing their music, and people still want to come see it played live. It's really cool.
When I watched you guys, I believe you guys were at the Riverside Municipal Auditorium before. Yeah. And that's where we're at. That's where our studio is, in Riverside. And it was amazing there too. Just the whole crowd was on fire there. I couldn't even go up front because I'm like, I'll stay back here.
That's a great place. That Riverside Auditorium is, I think we've been playing there now for maybe 5 or 6 years, but the first time we played there, it was like that. It was a line around the building and we couldn't even believe it. And it's always like that. There's just something about that area. People just come out.
We're huge Sublime fans here.
Wonderful.
What are your career goals? What are your plans? I know you said you're working on music. What else you got going?
Well, like I said, I'm certainly excited to be on just the Sublime part of what we do to eventually maybe be a part of putting out some of our own music. I mean, I think any musician ultimately, some part of them wants to be a part of creating something. So there is that's always been a part of me as a musician. And I've been lucky enough to work with other musicians and have created some things here and there along the way, but I'm really excited about the new material that we're working on. So that's definitely one thing. And I think, to be able to consistently do what we're doing just in the capacity of a Sublime tribute band, to be able to consistently continue to do what we're doing, and keep upping the ante as far as our level of being entertainers, right? So being not only just like putting our instruments on and playing the songs, but really putting on a good show and like making every night special. I think that we always strive to not only do the songs justice, but also to put on a great show and to really make it a fun night for everyone. So I think continuing to push ourselves in that way is, that's just always like a goal that motivates us to keep going. And then I guess maybe when I'm, 70 or 80 years old, maybe if we're still doing this, then I've achieved some sort of a milestone there too.
Yeah.
He's all like, dang it.
Rockstar forever.
Right.
You're an artist, you're a musical artist. So it's kind of ingrained in every artist to want to create. Yes, you are singing songs that somebody else wrote, but your job is to convey the song so that other people still get the feels. And you guys do a really good job at that, because every time you play, the whole crowd has the feels.
It's like being at an old time Sublime show, I mean, it really is.
But at the same time, it's brand new.
Yeah.
And you guys have your own vibe at the same time. So it has a good balance to it where you're not just a Sublime tribute band, you are Badfish.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for music.
Yeah.
Right. No, and you're right. I think over the years, we always want to be very clear that we're like forever indebted to the wonderful music of Sublime and Bradley Nowell's legacy for writing all these songs. But I think that because we've been playing for so long as Badfish, people know that they're going to hear the songs performed well, I hope, and also know that like we have our own identity because we're just our own people. We're not Sublime. We're the guys. Yeah. We're the guys in Badfish. So some of the things are like the things we might do on stage, like that we've developed over the years, become part of kind of our world a little bit. So I think people do, in a way, feel a connection to us as well as the music of Sublime, and they're all sort of intertwined together, but there is a connection to us as a band, which I think is a pretty special thing for any musician to be a part of, or fan to be a part of.
I think it's a lot stronger than that. Like we talk more about Sublime than we do Badfish because those are the songs, but a lot of bands play Sublime music. We have Sublime with Rome, and Denim has a Sublime song, and Catastrophe had a Sublime song. Everywhere you go, you're gonna hear a Sublime song at a reggae show. But for you guys to be able to take all of it collectively and make it its own show and have that energy every single time and get the crowd so pumped that people are bleeding, that's fucking magical.
Keep them bleeding. That'll be our new motto. I think.
Keep them bleeding. Yeah, because dang, you can't mosh pit like that anymore very much.
No. Yeah, that's the Badfish vibe.
Yeah,
that's not just Sublime music.
Yeah,
vibe. That's the Badfish vibe. So there's a lot.
Cool. That's really cool for you to say that. I like that.
Yeah, like you can hear Sublime music anywhere. The fact that you guys bring it with the energy that you do and the way that you do, that's entirely from you guys and your artistic capabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, and I appreciate you phrasing it that way. I kind of feel that as well.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And people were pumped.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You said you guys have a show coming up. You guys are playing, I believe, with Roots of Creation on the 16th, and we did an interview with Roots of Creation before too, so it's going to be really cool. I wish we could be there and watch this show. I'm excited for it. So
she sent me that one a few times. She's like, dude, we should go.
Yeah, like we can still get there.
You can get there. I think they're doing the whole weekend with us in Ohio, so
okay, yeah,
there's still time. I've been booking flights for people, and there are flights to Cleveland, which is probably the closest we can get. That's a really special weekend that we're about to do. We do one at the beginning and one at the end of every summer at this place in Ohio called Nelson Ledges Quarry Park, where they feature bands every weekend throughout the summer season. And we usually do an opening of the summer and a closing of the summer Friday, Saturday night. People camp out in the woods. It's a really special place. And I would recommend that if you're looking to do a weekend away for a Badfish or a Roots of Creation or an anyone else experience, that this is like a really cool and fun place to do it.
Music under the stars, yeah, that's lovely.
It is pretty cool. It is a different vibe than SoCal and what you guys are used to. Maybe it's Midwestern, huge campsite in the woods, music, craziness, and it's its own thing. But
I want to experience.
Good reason to put it on your calendar.
Definitely.
Come out maybe next year.
Next year for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we're on the subject of it, you've played, like you said, across the country, back and forth. You guys are going different places on the weekends. Where is your favorite place that you've played, and where is somewhere that you still want to play?
Well, still want to play. I mean, we've only really played in the US, a bit in Canada. We've played in Hawaii, which is part of the US, but a bit of a trip, obviously. I mean, I'd love to play in South America. I'd love to play in Europe. So the world's a big place. So there's a lot of places in the world where I really love to play and explore in that way, for sure. But even in the US, I'd say the Pacific Northwest, we've played in Seattle, we played in Portland, Oregon, and, really far Northern California dates and stuff like that. But we never really got there enough to sort of establish ourselves in the same way we're established closer to home or in Southern California or down in Florida or the Midwest. We play pretty much everywhere else in the country, but that Northwestern corner has been tough for us to establish ourselves. So I think it would be great if we could have a bigger following there. It's just a matter of logistics and in scheduling and finding the time to make that happen on a regular basis, which we just, with our lives and our current schedule, we haven't been able to. So that, and anywhere around the world, of course. I mean, how great would it be to just traverse the globe doing this?
Yeah.
But as far as places that we have played, and I'm not just saying it because I'm talking to you too, but like Southern California has been a really, because I remember before we played Southern California and we weren't sure how well we would be received. I mean, that's the home of Sublime, and there's a lot of reverence there for Sublime. And I think that, we're always pretty aware of the fact that we are a tribute band to Sublime. And I think people's perception of what it means to be a tribute band can vary from person to person. So stepping into the hallowed ground of Sublime Tribute Band was a little bit daunting at first. I can't remember the first time that we played in California, but it was certainly a while ago. But when we did cross that barrier and say, okay, we're going to do it, we're going to play in LA, we're going to play in Anaheim and San Diego and all of these other ancillary places around there, we were well received. It was great. And it's actually become one of the coolest places. I don't know if you've ever seen us at House of Blues in Anaheim but you've seen us in Riverside. So, right. So that vibe of just like droves of people coming out and rocking out like that, this happens when we play in Southern California, like minutes from where, not far from Long Beach, right, where Sublime started. So it's a really rewarding feeling to be kind of welcomed into, and we've crossed paths with plenty of Sublime's members. And that was gonna be one of my questions as well. Yeah, and I can expand on that for sure. But like we know and are friendly with some of the Sublime extended family, and they've been very cool with what we're doing, and they know that we're being respectful of the material and just trying to honor it in the best way we can. And we've had some really good experiences interacting with them, whether it's musicians coming on stage with us or just Troy Bradley's wife. She's been to a lot of shows, and we've just had a lot of fun hanging out and partying with their whole extended family of Sublime. And that's been a really good feeling. So SoCal, it's great, but I like playing shows closer to home too. We've been doing that for the longest, obviously. And this Ohio thing this weekend is a real special one, as I mentioned. I mean, it's so tough to put my finger on a favorite one because every state I could almost give you like a favorite place. It's tough.
Yeah. And like the vibe everywhere you go is a little bit different. So then it's kind of hard to compare. Like, is a show on the beach comparable to a show in Ohio. They're kind of different settings, they're different crowds, different people. The only thing that's the same is the music that you're going to play, but you're delivering it to an entirely different vibe, which is where you guys come in and say, okay, we're going to change it to this because these people will receive it that way.
In a way, yeah. Like there's some of that thought that goes into it. We might do things a little differently in different settings.
Yeah.
Like when we have to play 2 full sets in the woods of Ohio, we're probably going to be jamming out some songs and extending things and kind of going more toward the, Sublime has such a great array of styles that they play to, which is really cool to be able to play all these different styles of music. But we lean more into our jam band selves when we play like a more festy vibe versus doing surf rodeo where we probably only had a 60-minute set. I mean, we're just hitting all the bangers right off the bat. Yeah. And that's such, and those are 2 different things. So yeah. Place to place, crowd to crowd, things change. And it's tough to put my finger on one favorite, to be honest.
I do have a favorite question.
Oh, good. I hope I have an answer.
You will.
You will. Okay. If you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
I don't know. Is it a cop out to say a bird of some sort? I mean, I would like, just for the simple fact that I think to be able to fly would be really rad. I'm just thinking in terms of like animals' special powers, and to be a badass bird, like some kind of an eagle or a hawk or something like that.
Yeah. To
be able to see from that high up, to have that freedom, to be able to live instead of 2 dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Back, left, right, to be able to have up and down at my disposal.
Yeah.
As a living thing, that to me that seems amazing. So yeah.
I like how you said it, to have the up and down at your disposal, where as humans, like we can go
it's so true.
wide. You can go as far and wide as you want, but you can't go up or down unless you're walking up a mountain. It's the same with the ocean. Like you drop a human in the ocean, you're just shark food.
Right. There's a certain freedom, I think, being able to just have this whole dimension at your disposal that sounds really, really exciting to me.
It's always weird to me when people say bird because it sounds like such a freedom, but then when I like personally look at a bird, I'm like, you crazy little dinosaur.
Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some birds do. Yeah, really, they look a bit prehistoric.
Yes, I actually I have a favorite bird. It's the cassowary. They don't fly though.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not either. Jessie has a lot of information in her head.
Okay.
I'm all, what? Now I have to look it up. Half the time I have to look things up.
This is the part of the podcast where you like edit in a picture of that bird, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of podcasts, you said that you also have a podcast. What is the name of it and where can people find it?
And what is it about?
Yeah.
Tell us the things.
I started a podcast during COVID called Intermission. So it was initially just a discussion with some fellow musicians, people I knew from other bands throughout the years, in a way to have a conversation with these fellow musicians about the fact that our entire entertainment industry has been put on hold during COVID and how people felt about it. So it was almost like it was half online, like tandem therapy session, let's talk through this kind of a vibe, but it was also a way to get to know these particular musicians and talk about their stories coming up. So we would talk about how these musicians came to play music, whatever my association with them may be, kind of talk about that history, and then talk about the whole COVID of everything and how that all factored into it. I did a few episodes of that and then put that on hold for a bit as I was exploring some other things in life. And I'm in the process of sort of resurrecting that. I have a new business venture that will be a mobile app that I've been working on for the past couple of years, which is basically why I put the podcast on hold as the music industry started to regain its footing again. So that's been its own interesting road. But I'm going to use the podcast as a way to not only talk about what happened since I put things on hold. So talking about becoming the founder of a startup business as the music industry came back to life, but also continue to talk to artists and musicians. So it's going to serve a few more purposes, and eventually, well, I don't know where it's going to go. So it's almost going to be pick up where I left off and be a story of the journey that I've been on since I had put that on hold. In music and technology and the industry, it's all going to be in play as far as what we discuss on the pod.
And that's cool, because even coming back into the music industry now that COVID's like kind of lightened up and everything, there's still so many differences now than there was before COVID. Like,
yes.
you know, we weren't in this industry before COVID. So we also became doing what we're doing in the middle of COVID as well. And so it's completely different though than it was before. Anything that anybody does is different now. And so I like that you're going to come back with like what has happened, what's transpired, like now what you're doing, and with the app that you're doing.
Okay, but did you say what the business is?
No.
Or were you being secretive?
He's being secretive.
I will say that it's an app that will be very, I think, fun and usable for people with a creative spirit. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but more to come on that for sure.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Hopefully in the next 6 months. So you'll.
Tiptoed around that.
You're
right. You noticed that, right? Yeah. So I have to save some content for my pod. I can't give it all to you.
I'm like, can I
ask? No, but that's really cool. COVID helped a lot of people realize that they had more potential than what they were actually just doing. And I'm not saying like, I mean, obviously you're an artist, you're out there, you know, different every weekend, you know, playing and stuff, but that's not just your only ability. And so it's nice that you can take what you have there, but then also, you know, learn more things and do more things so that now you're more self-fulfilled, you know, and that's kind of what I've learned as well since COVID is that there's so much more I could be doing versus what I was doing before. I was just kind of, you know, living at that level where, you know, you just get comfortable and then you forget how much more you have to give the world. I think that's so true. Your point is 100% true that, I don't know, COVID effed me up a little bit, like in the head. And because I've been so reliant on always having a gig and I didn't have a gig. So it was almost like this kind of a other part of me kicked in, like I have to do something else, whether it's the podcast or developing this new piece of technology and I think everybody had similar experiences, and I can only hope that everyone discovered a little bit about themselves. You know, it affected so many different people in so many different ways, but I think that effect, and there's a lot to talk about there, right? So that's why I think once I get my podcast back, you know, rolling back again, that conversation will always be there. What did you discover about yourself? What did you do to fill the void? Right. Yeah. So I think there's a lot there.
It's like when you lose one of your senses and then your other senses pick up and make up for it. COVID took away that main expression of creativity, like that main artistic way that musicians used. And so everybody had that choice of, how are you going to adapt your creativity to fit into this? Like, I can't perform my gigs, but I still have all these skills. I have all these talents. Where am I going to put that right now? Yeah. Sure. And so we all had the opportunity to expand on it. And it's cool to see all of the different ways that you did. Like, I had a podcast. I also am making an app. I have this business that I'm starting. And now I have all the gigs still. Yes. So,
which is a whole other layer of complication that, like now, like I have almost not enough time to do all the things I want to do.
No, and I, believe me, we understand because like
you get it, yeah.
We have, I have a job as well. And then I'm like, we started a Nameless Production. We also started Dirty Sisters organization. I don't know if you've heard about that.
So like I'm a mom.
We're busy. Yeah. It's like, there's no time.
3 kids in school and I'm doing logos now and I do all of our editing. And so it's the same, like every time we want to add a new project, I'm like, shit, where's it going to fit?
Yeah.
I'm going to not sleep tonight then.
Yeah. She does our editing. So that one affects her more than it affects me. I just record these and I'm like, all right, here.
You pass it off. Yeah. It's not like anybody set a date on the calendar and said, okay, as of, January 1st, 2022, music in the entertainment industry is going to be back. It was just, it kind of like happened, and it bubbled up, and then it got tamped down, and it bubbled up again. And so there was no way to prepare for the fact that, okay, now we almost have a little bit too much on our plate. Some people may or may not, but it's the unpredictability factor of everything is kind of, that's in play for everybody. So it's been it continues to be an interesting journey through the COVID experience. I think even though we're like, quote unquote, back.
Yeah,
there's still a lot going on. I don't think about COVID every day like I used to, but it's still there in the background. So it's kind of it's a weird vibe.
You have Ohio coming up. You have music coming up. Where can people find you to find all of these things, like websites?
Yeah. Our website is badfish.com. That's pretty easy. All of our tour dates are up there. Our Instagram handle is Badfish Sublime Tribute, and we update that regularly with tour updates and pictures and videos, as bands tend to do. I'm sure we have a Twitter that I just don't know the handle for. I'm a little hands off when it comes to some of the social media stuff. But we also have a Facebook page. Badfish Sublime Tribute is our Facebook page, and our Instagram page. So between that and the website, you can definitely track us down for sure.
Yeah, cool. That's another thing. That's a whole job, is maintaining the social medias. That's
right. It used to be like, oh, we can kind of just manage this on our own, but now it's like you need to farm out some of that stuff because it's time consuming, and if you want to keep up with all of the trends and what the cool kids are doing, like that takes time and thought, and you need to know what's going on. And like, I almost Well, and
that's what I was going to say, where you were like, my brain kind of was like, I can't do it. That was me. I do all the other socials. I do all the editing. When it came to TikTok, I was like, nah, fuck you guys. Melissa, you do it.
And so I've been learning it. I've been trying.
My plate was full.
Yeah, but now she's all up in it, and she's.
Is there anything you want to share? What do you want people to know? What?
This is always the toughest part of any interview, is the free form. What I usually say here, and it's completely true, it's a bit of restating something that I already said, but I guess what I really like people to know is that we feel just super fortunate and lucky to be able to perform Sublime's music, where this is incredible music, and we just feel so completely lucky to be not only playing it, but being able to play it for the past 20 plus years now to crowds of people who still love this music. It's such a testament to Sublime's music that there's still crowds of people coming out to see their music, and I know Sublime with Rome still plays and release music, but the Bradley era of Sublime has not been performing for so many years now, and we get to do that, and we're just so thankful for that opportunity to be able to do it.
It's such a long time. That's such a long career already too. It's really cool to see how long it's been going and how people are still pumped and just as excited for it and just as eager to get it from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. I'm exactly right. It is mind blowing. I mean, just to do the same thing for over 20 years, whatever it is crazy. But the fact that we've been able to play music we genuinely love for people that genuinely love it, that's a whole different level. So if I hadn't made that clear, now hopefully it's clear.
Oh, you did. You definitely did. And I appreciate that. And it's just the respect you guys have for the band and for, Bradley and for just everything. It's just, it's heartwarming. Do you have mosh pits at every single one? Like,
No. So no, now and again, maybe one in every 10 shows do we.
Okay. Because I'm like, dang, just being on stage watching that, I would be it's phenomenal just seeing people. They're crazy.
It is cool.
You get in the mosh pit?
No, I used to when I was a young metalhead. I used to engage in those kinds of activities, but I think the last time that I attempted to do that, I was like, oh boy, I'm gonna get hurt. I'm not, and that was a long time ago. In fact, I did backstage at Surf Rodeo, Mario, who was playing bass for us for that show, he's a Phoenix guy, and he's a fellow metalhead. So he and I, when I can't remember the name of the opening band, but they started covering like a Motorhead song, and Mario and I, our bass player for that show, he and I broke out into like an impromptu backstage 2-man mosh pit, and it lasted for about 20 seconds. We have it on video. And I was so completely winded and wiped out just from doing that. I'm like, this is not, that's a whole different life for me.
So that's enough.
That's enough moshing for me. That'll last me the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That looks cool.
Wow, there's a video of that.
Yeah, a lot safer to be a spectator in that way.
Yeah.
Overall, I just want to say thank you for the music. It's a little bit, I want to like compare it to Catastro, how Andy Chavez just passed away, and there's this whole following where it all just ended.
I know.
And it's nice to have bands like Badfish where it doesn't have to end.
Mm-hmm,
I know, like the Catastro band, we still have the rest of the guys there, but you don't get that show anymore.
Right.
And so with Sublime, there's this entire culture based after it, and we don't get that show anymore. And you guys make it so that we still get that show.
Right.
Still continues on. And so as fans, we say thank you.
Yeah.
And maybe with Catastro's music, that will happen in time too. I know that there's so much love and respect for those guys, and there was for Andy, and I think, who knows? I mean, they could have a similar legacy in that same way. But thank you for enjoying and coming to see what we do and being a part of the whole just life and culture of Sublime stuff. It's been a blessing to be able to do this, and so glad that you enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely spread the name more. The more
the
merrier,
merrier.
right?
More the merrier. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to music.
Yes.
The new music.
More music, and look forward to seeing you next time we're out west.
Yes,
Cool.
for sure. All right. Well, you have a good day.
Okay, you too. Thanks, guys.
Okay. All right. Bye.
So that was a really good episode, and I really liked that it went into the lines of all of the different changes that had to come from COVID and things like that, because we've talked about that a lot on our episodes about how COVID, like,
It
good
changed
for some
everything.
people, didn't do good for some people, but like some of us started learning new things and doing new things, and so
Yeah, that was like the main point of what he was talking about in the beginning was COVID took away the live gigs. COVID took away the musicians' ability to give that music to people live. So they all had to adjust and switch it up and start using other skills, doing it online, doing live feeds.
yeah, well, that, and even to make money, because that's what they lived off from.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the musicians would go on, do shows and do different things because they also earned a living doing that. Learning new things and everything is a huge...
It was like a game changer. Everybody had that taken away from them, so then they had to dive deep, pull out what other skills they had, and use those skills to get by. So now, all of these people have all of these backup skills that they pulled
started doing.
Yes, and they're using, now the music came back and the world opened up again, or whatever the fuck they say, and the gigs came back, but they have all of these projects on their plate from the last 2 years. So now they're trying to finish what they started during COVID. That's what Scott was saying. He was trying to finish what he started during COVID. He has these ideas, he has these things that he's working on, but now the gigs are coming back. So now there's a whole nother shift and a whole nother change where everybody's going, oh, I'm so behind.
Yeah.
Because now we're trying to do it how we used to do it, while also including what we learned to do in the meantime.
Yeah, and it's really hard to juggle all of those things and to try to make them all work together so that you're not all over the place.
We mentioned personally in like our own conversation feeling good with Duddy.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, so after the conversation with Scott, we were like, we can see how Duddy and Jake had that issue come up where Duddy was touring and he was doing these other things. They had the podcast during COVID. Now the real life things are coming back. Jake's real life things all came back.
Yeah.
And then they both were suddenly swamped.
And they had to make a decision as to what was going to be the easiest thing not to have to juggle at the moment.
And we will say, Feeling Good with Daddy, it's not canceled. It's been on hiatus.
Yeah.
And this morning on the Morning Ride Show, today is Jake Bushnell's birthday. On the Morning Ride Show, he did mention that they may pop in and just do a random episode of Feeling Good with Daddy here and there, because they do notice on the FGW Debunker Facebook page, they have noticed everybody saying how bad they miss it. And that fucking made my day. I was like, yes!
The funny thing is this. Yesterday, Jessie and I were at my house, and we were recording some of our music video for what we're doing. We were looking at some of the old stuff, some of the old shenanigans that we had done, and we just, we decided we were going to post it, and then it was funny that all that came up today, and it was like really nice, It was like Jessie and I were sitting in there, we're standing there talking about it, and we're laughing, and I go, oh my God, look how happy we are. Just because we heard they might like pop in. And it's because that's like where we started. And so that show means way more to us than like I think anybody could ever imagine, unless you're involved in it and you were.
If you're in the bunker, you know.
Yeah.
If you are part of that group, you know. But dang, we've been missing it. Those are our friends.
Yeah.
And it's not the same without the jokes and the shenanigans. And like, yes, we have jokes and shenanigans, but it's not the mute jokes and the moonflower jokes and, the scissor jokes. It's way different. And so it was just a cool
so
thing this morning.
if you don't listen to it, you need to check it out, because I think they still have all of their episodes up, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube and also Spotify. Go back and you can listen, so that when they do come back, you can be updated and
Or don't, and just have it be a full surprise. Dive right in.
Yeah, I mean, you can. A lot of people just dive right in. Yeah, but that was, it's really cool to hear that something that you like and something that you loved or whatever might come back.
Well, okay, so we had somebody ask a question about Scotty Don't.
Yeah.
Badfish's original band, and this is how they're gonna feel when they hear, they have been working on original music. They're gonna be like, oh my God, they came back! Yeah. Even though they never left, the original music took a back seat to, the stuff that pays the bills, because we all have to pay all the bills because everything's so fucking expensive.
So expensive.
But new music, new podcasts.
Yeah, his is going to be coming back too, he said. So it's like I said, everybody's now learning how they can put it all together and work it out. Like, it's been a minute. Everybody had to refocus.
So everybody took a break. They refocused on what came back, and now they're trying to combine all of the things together to make that new normal, where we
constantly new normal.
Yes, fucking shit. Where it's all the old shit we used to do blended with the new shit that we all have to do now.
So speaking of change, we'll kind of go into a little bit of
the last week.
Our last week,
because you just heard about all of our shit a week ago. Because we're all of a sudden doing episodes every week.
You guys are getting really lucky here. Jessie, on the other hand, is getting no sleep because of this, so I hope you guys are happy.
I'm tired. A lot.
So, Jessie, what did you do last week?
It would have been my wedding anniversary, but it was not. Because I'm getting divorced, and my divorce is this close to being final, and I check it every other day.
Which is a good thing, because,
no updates.
You gotta know. The courts are slow right now.
Dude. And so I was ironic, because the whole time I was married, this anniversary, our wedding anniversary, my ex-husband would go camping. And so he went camping on this weekend specifically for 16 years. And then now that we're divorced, we ended up spending the whole day together. And because I was at home editing, and we share the house, which is a whole different thing. It's co-parenting.
Right. So we can get into that.
Okay.
We're gonna get into that. So
David and I split the house. So instead of our kids having to go back and forth every time to see their dad, he lives about an hour away. He comes and stays at the house, and I leave. it used to be all our house, so it's not that weird.
Yeah.
And I did that when I was a kid. I did 1 week here, 1 week there. So for me, it's a habit. For my kids, they're like, what the fuck? I have to leave? Why am I in trouble? Dad's the one who lives there, not me. And so we worked it out where we split the house and we co-parent. And it works out great. And the kids are well more behaved and they can't like manipulate us to get shit out of us.
Yeah.
Which was happening, and I pointed that. I was like, "Nah,"
and it does. Yeah, I've co-parented before because I co-parented with my son. I had him 1 week on, 1 week off, and that was hella crazy. He was always like uprooted and always having to change and do, you know,
living out of bags.
Yeah, and it's
kids.
They're kids, and they need to enjoy their life. So if there is a way to do that kind of custody arrangement where the children get to stay in the home and the parents leave, we already had our childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a paralegal, so I am also speaking from a professional level as well. I highly recommend the parents going back and forth somewhere, even if it's an apartment. If you can afford to do something, or somebody's house, or
I usually go to her house.
Yeah, she'll come to my house, and it's fun. I mean, whatever, you know.
So Melissa did it already with her kids and her stepkids. I'm doing it now with my kids. Melissa this last week had it all of a sudden come back as like flashbacks.
Well, yeah, so my mom was having some medical issues. She was taking some blood thinners for it, and the blood thinners caused her to have a brain bleed. You know, it was up to my sister and I to care for our mom and to be there for her because she couldn't do it for herself, and she was not able to properly comprehend things or talk, or
she couldn't communicate.
Yeah. My sister and I had to like kind of reteach our mom her name and her birthday and different things, and so it brought back that oh wow, you know, what if this is what my sister and I have to do forever, you know? I mean, that's kind of what we were thinking because it was so bad.
So they were like taking turns, like, okay, today is your day, you go in and be with mom, and then I'll go in tomorrow, or I'll go in at this time.
Yeah.
And it was just weird that like
that whole
her
schedule.
And her sister were working out co-parenting.
Custody arrangements.
Yes, of their mom. And then me and my ex, we were having those conversations, working out days, like, and then she was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is similar.
Very similar. And just so you guys know,
hers is more hectic, but
it was scary. It was definitely something that we didn't expect. You know, like we said in our previous episodes, change can come so quickly as well. And it was something that, you know, we've adapted to. We had to adapt to what was happening, and now she's doing so much better. Just so you guys know, I'll tell you what, I learned how the brain works, you know, and like how it can heal itself, you know, and it was weird to watch. It was a really weird experience in itself, you know, just watching your parent go from being normal and walking around and talking and, you know, bitching and all that to just being all really sweet and nice and needy and not being able to comprehend what you're saying, not being able to communicate what they need, to being back normal and bitchy again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's wonderful. It's nice to have mom back to her normal self. And, you know, I'm pretty sure I said, if we could just get everything back to normal, I won't complain about it. So I'm going to just love my mom, and, you know, people are who they are, and
well, it's one of those
in their
things,
ways,
like,
and
you guys, Melissa and her mom butt heads a lot.
We love each other. We're best friends. Jessie, all my friends, everybody knows. Like,
they hang out all the time, but then they also are bickering all the time. But it's one of those things where she was like frustrated, and then at the same time was like, okay, but also I have to take care of my mom though. Oh, fuck! It's my mom. And I'm like, nah, I respect that. That's fine. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that because you have to adapt to that change. And Melissa spent the whole week rearranging her life going, shit, how do I adapt to this?
Yeah.
And also maintain everything. Like, I call them curveballs. Just,
I've been throwing a lot of curveballs.
Try that, bitch. What about this one? What are you gonna do?
I'll tell you what, though, my mental health has been extremely well.
Yes! And she's handled all of it. I mean, it is.
Yeah, and
Sitting here watching
I
it, I'm
started
like,
taking
dang.
a new medication, and it's helping me at least be able to handle and deal with the things that are thrown at me. We got through that part, and hopefully now it's clear sailing from here when it comes to her health.
Like, dang, I feel like COVID makes people more old.
Yeah, well, COVID is definitely, and I've said this a lot too, COVID is to blame for all of this. Because before this, my mom was pretty healthy, and before she got COVID, and then she got COVID, and everything kind of went downhill for her,
Think of that.
Yeah. So anybody else who's going through that, having those issues, man, we're sorry that you're going through it, because fuck, the backlash from COVID is shitty for some people.
Yeah, it does fuck you up for a long time. I've had it a couple times. The first time I got it, I lost hair.
Yeah.
Like, I felt bald for a year. I was like, dang, this is rough.
Yeah.
And then I got gastroparesis from surgery, and then you're malnourished, and then I was like, well, now my hair won't grow back even.
Yeah.
Fuck. We're all good. I'm sexy again. It's fine. It's a little different than being a parent, too, because, like, I remember my mom saying, you guys are going to have to take care of me, but dang, taking care of a toddler, you could pick them up.
Yeah.
You can't pick up a grown-up. You need help for that one. So it is a little bit different caring for your parents than it is caring for your kids.
So thank you to all of the caretakers and nurses and anybody who is in those convalescent
it's not COVID
homes.
anymore, so people aren't saying thank you, but we're saying thank you now.
I want to say thank you still because
it's working out, and yes. It's nice to have a friend like Melissa. I'm wandering.
and everybody's like... Sometimes she's there just in the corner editing.
And it doesn't feel like a broken home. It's just a different home.
Yeah. It's a lot easier that way. I always wanted to do co-parenting, like with parents and stuff when they're going through this, and write up their stipulations and stuff. So if you're in California and you want to have a amicable custody schedule, you can hit me up.
Right? She's good. Yeah, because that's actually her real job.
Yeah, I really do that, guys.
And and I do logos.
And dude, she's doing hella cool logos. She's getting a bunch of them. So hit her up for logos, because those are our two jobs that like make us money.
Yeah, and it helps me wander on the weekends when my house is not my house, it's my ex's house.
We pretty much adopted her, my husband and I, so.
I'll just stay at the beach. Or
we can get her a kid's meal and she's fine.
Yeah. Can I just have 2 coffees, though? Thank you.
We'll give her all the coffee.
It's a good time. I'm actually enjoying my life right now, and my divorce is almost final. I suck at dating still. That's been a pattern for a long time. I'm not good at it. Still, we talked about this in the Wayne's World one.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since then too.
I'm not any better. Dang, fail.
Well, maybe she'll get better in time.
Other than that, we're just working on logos. We're going to have new merch for Dirty Sisters for Halloween and October and the fall. So keep an eye out on that for dirtysisters.org.
Yeah.
And then she's on no. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube and share that shit.
Melissa Pofek on Instagram. Jessie Rules on Instagram.
What up?
Same thing on Facebooks.
Yeah.
Facebooks.
On the Facebooks.
All of them.
We have a lot that we want to do. So the more you guys are there for us, the more we can do. Yeah. And the more fun we have while we're doing it. And we've been having a lot of fun since episode 50. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Dang, thank you guys. So we're going to go make more stuff happen.
Yeah. Peace.